And we are live, guys. I have a real treat for you tonight. First of all, welcome to the Bassin Magazine podcast. Bassin Magazine is the official magazine of the Weekend Angler. Tonight, I have Bassmaster Elite Series champion Luke Palmer. I mean, get this, guys. Luke Palmer, 96 pounds, 14 ounces on Santee Cooper Reservoir. 96 pounds, 14 ounces. 96 pounds, 14 ounces. Two more ounces. Uh, 2 pounds. Oh, geez. Boy, I flubbed that one. He's almost in the 100-pound club on this one. But without further ado, I give you none other than elite champion Luke Palmer. How you doing tonight, Luke?
Doing well, Jay. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. We already have a guy commenting. Cajun Rob said, "Good evening, gents." I know Cajun Rob, when I talked to him today, he was so excited about Luke Palmer coming on. You know, the burning question I always ask guys who have just won is this your first Elite Series win?
It is my first Elite Series win.
Wow. Congratulations. You got a blue trophy.
I got a blue. That's been a long time coming, man. I don't think people realize how tough it is to win one of those, and I mean, it's tough winning at your local derbies.
Yes.
And to win there, people ask me, well, have you won one yet? And it's like, now it's been 4 years, almost 5 years. And they're like, well, why not? It's like,
why not?
Some pretty good hammers. I mean, across the country. I mean, it's,
I'm going to give you 96 reasons why.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not a gravy train deal. I mean, those guys, they're good. There's a reason there.
You're playing on a world stage there, man. I mean, some of the best anglers in the world are there, and all the best anglers in the world have gone through there.
Exactly.
Some of them retired, some of them gone on to other trails, but still, I mean, it all started with Bassmaster.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, it's, and I miss fishing my local derbies and stuff with my dad and stuff, but there's nothing like, when they're calling your name taking off in the morning on day 4 and you got the lead. Like that's a special moment.
I have a question here. It's Jiving Cuevas says, is this the guy that does the Live in the Bass Life YouTube series?
Yep, that's mine. My deal just dropped tonight for the Santee Cooper deal. So it's an hour long, but I sat back and I got to watch it. I watched it on my lunch break today, and hell, I was at the edge of my seat, and I know what happens. So it was really good.
You know what happens? That's funny.
Yeah.
You know what happens. So I know what everybody wants to hear is okay, first of all, guys, for those of you who didn't see it, I was following this one. Everybody was saying Matt Robertson on him. Yeah, let's go up there and drink a beer. All of a sudden, Luke Palmer wins. And there's only one winner. That was exciting. That was exciting.
It was. Like,
that guy's been on my podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, it was I didn't ever think I really had a shot to win that one after day 1. Even day 2 I didn't. Because Matt was still catching them good, but
yeah,
I seen conditions were changing, and I knew kind of what Matt was doing because we talked, and I knew what was happening with me could possibly get better or it could get a lot worse, and it got a lot better. So, I mean, I was doing something I like to do, so that's the reason I think it got better.
So what were you doing?
I was throwing a 7.3 Falcon Amistad, which is a rod that I have thrown forever. I don't know if it's just because I'm an Oklahoma guy, but it's just Falcon is a staple in Oklahoma, it seems like.
Sure.
Throwing 20 sunline shooter, 20-pound sunline. And I was throwing either a 3/16 up to a 5/16 ounce Rougarou tungsten. And I was flipping a woolly bug, which is
– oh, yeah. You like to flip, don't you?
Oh, that's my favorite thing to do. And the only thing that would have made it better is if I'd have got to use braid. So then I could have hit them harder, and I could have boat flipped all the 5 to 7 pounders instead of went down and lifted them. But I mean, I guess it made it more exciting when I'm down there trying to grab one. It's sloshing everywhere, but
Ooh,
it was pretty good.
harder on your heart though.
Hey, it was very stressful at times, but
So a woolly bug, who makes that?
yum baits.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, what's cool about them is you get a pack of them for like $3.50 or $3.99 instead of $7-8.
Well, I tell you what, when I was guiding, the Yum Dinger was about all that I used towards the end of my guiding career because one hook brings them back to the boat.
Yeah.
And also one hook when you have people slinging bait in your boat that don't know what they're doing makes it less likely that you get hooked.
Oh yeah, definitely helps for dang sure.
But the woolly bug, huh?
Yeah, it's a beaver style bait, and I just like the way it glides. A little bit different than others, and I've got to use that bait for 8 straight days of tournament fishing on Santee Cooper. It's the same bait I used last year, the same setup, everything that I caught him on last year, and had 95 pounds last year there.
You had 95 pounds there. Boy, I tell you, man, we're going to start calling this Luke Palmer's Santee Cooper magic.
I don't want to say that now, but it's been good to me. I done good the first.
I'm not trying to jinx this.
Yeah, I don't want to. I mean, it was the third time we've been there, so the third time was a charm for me.
Yeah, I mean, but still 95 pounds last time. Where did you end up on that tournament?
Ended up coming in 4th.
Okay.
That's 10 pounds was like 105 won it, I think. So yeah, we hit
still
it.
Fourth. But still fourth at the Elite Series.
I mean, you told me I could take 4th every tournament. I wouldn't even show up. I would just, all right, there's my money. Just go ahead and give me my check.
Yeah.
I'll go. I mean, I could make a couple of dollars at the end of the year, and I'd probably win Angler every year. So I'd take that for dang sure.
Yeah, you'd be called Mr. Consistency.
Yeah, for dang sure then.
Even if you never won one, if you just came in 4th every tournament.
I'd take out some AOYs. That'd be fine. AOY is good as winning one to me. It's actually better than winning one to me. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of one of those trifectas. Everybody wants to win one. You want to win AOY and you want to win a classic. That's the ultimate trifecta on the Elite Series. And so now I just got to do 2 more of them now.
Boy, you do that. I mean, what's next?
That'd be the dream. I mean,
then you do it again. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's only a handful of guys that have done that. I mean, a very select few. I mean, I know Clun's done it, and I know Davey won it. Who else?
Maybe Kevin Van Dam.
Oh yeah, Kevin's probably done it 14 times.
Yeah, well, with 4 classic victories. I mean, geez.
So he
also has four classic victories.
Yeah. So it's a special deal. I mean, but it's one of those deals that I've talked to a few people and they're like, that's one thing that no one can ever take away from you. No matter if I die tomorrow or I don't fish another tournament the rest of my life, is I got that blue trophy one time in my life, and it was worth it at least that once.
So you Texas rigged these woolly bugs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you drag it, or do you hop it? Do you work it hard, or?
I was targeting these fish on cypress trees, and I think, well, I know probably 80% of my fish were spawning.
Okay.
And I would just flip those trees, and I was using live scope to look at the trees and see, once I caught one, how many more fish were sitting there spawning on the trees. And
could you see them around all those cypress knees?
Yeah, the trees in Santee don't have a bunch of knees around them. It's not
really.
Certain trees do, but the trees I was targeting didn't have that. They would have only 1 or 2 knees on the base of them.
Because I think I live down in southern Louisiana.
Yeah.
I mean, some of our cypress trees might have 600 knees around them. There might be, 12 trees right here and 600 knees all over the place. And you can't see anything even 10 feet away from them with sometimes you can, if they're above the knee, of course, but a lot of times they'll tuck themselves down in that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Now,
so
it's
you go out there and
different
see if
type.
there are any other things spawning around.
Yeah, it's just a different type of tree. I think a different cypress. Uh,
Sure.
but I'd flip that woolly bug in there, and normally the female would bite it first. You'd go ahead and catch her real quick, which was nice. But you'd have to work for the other ones. You'd have to flip it up there, and I just drag it to the where I thought they were wanting the bait, and I would just sit there and shake it and shake it and shake it, then hit it, and I'd flip back in there and just back and I had one fish I spent 45 minutes on her before I caught her.
Oh, I believe that.
So it was something else. I mean, I once I figured out where she wanted the bait, I caught her in 3 or 4 minutes. So it
That's
was
that's one thing I learned living up north where they have clear water. Is there's a sweet spot on every bed.
mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
it's a lot easier when you're sitting there with your Polaroids on,
Yeah.
and flipping it out there. And okay, she didn't respond. Okay, here she comes. Here she comes.
Yeah.
I can't believe how fast bass are.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it takes time. Once you find that, it's about the size of a quarter. When you find that little quarter spot in her bed, it's Katie bar the door then.
Yeah, she's mine.
Yeah.
She's mine.
Yeah, no doubt. But,
Man, that is so exciting. Up north watching that. I've actually seen smallmouth do that up in like Green Bay.
yeah.
And they're in 14, 25 feet of water.
Oh, I've never caught smallmouth spawning up north. And I've always caught them, I've caught a few down south, not a ton, but I'd like to do it.
That's because you're usually, in March.
Yeah.
Boy, I don't think they're coming into the spawning beds when we usually fish for them.
Yeah.
But if I could get up there in May, you're usually somewhere else, probably in Tennessee by May, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. There's no telling where we're at. Yeah, we're about to be in South Texas next week. So
where are you going to fish in South Texas?
The Sabine River.
Oh,
but it'll be a tough one, which I like tough tournaments. I mean, knock on wood, I've done well there. I hope I can. Hopefully, I can go ahead and do well there again.
You're going to follow Brock Mosley and drive 80 miles each way?
No, I'm not. I won't go. I won't go over there because me and him are pretty good buddies, and I'm not going to go. I know where he's going, and I know he's going to go check, and I won't even go over there.
Man, that's an iffy thing, though. Because you go across that bay, if there's a blow going on, or if a blow comes up when he's whoa.
It's one of them deals. I'm liable to make there's another area that's 120 miles. I might actually go there too. It's across Galveston, but I don't ever get. I mean, if it's rough compared to how bad it is, it's going to take you another 20 minutes probably. You're just going to have to back out a little bit. But I don't really. I've been in some bad stuff on Lake Ontario and everything. I mean, 6 to 8 footers, and if you just take your time and I run a 21-foot Phoenix, and and I just kind of back out and take my time. I'm not going to kill myself. I mean, if I know the wind's blowing, I'm going to give myself another 30 minutes when I think it's only going to take me 10 or 15 extra. And because if you beat your equipment to death,
yes,
you can't the next day. And we have a hell of a service crew. I mean, those guys, I watch rebuild motors overnight for us. I mean, drop lower units, take trolling motors off, whatever, to get us back on the water. And if you completely tear your boat up, what are you really out of it? I mean, now if you 100,000 and you tore it up on day 4, that's one thing. But if you tear it up on day 1 and you have to get it worked on, then day 2, it's still, sometimes it's patched because, but I've been very blessed with the service. Phoenix has got, well, it's not just Phoenix, all the guys there at the service crew. If I've pulled up there and needed something done, like all of them come help. It's not just the Phoenix guy works on it. I mean, everybody's so helpful and they're just good dudes. I mean, I really, that service crew doesn't get enough credit for what they do. I mean, they're the heart and soul of us getting to fish.
Yeah, I'm just thinking back, when I first started back when I was in my 20s, I was fishing walleye tournaments and I was actually more following them around as a writer. And I remember getting out on those walleye boats, and walleye boats are built for it, on Lake Erie. And one time on Green Bay, up in Little Bay to Knock, and Wow. I was 25 years old, came back, felt like I had been beaten up. I'm thinking on that now. I don't know if I can survive that. Lake
I,
Erie will swallow you up, man.
I back out of stuff now. I'm over 30 now, which is still young, but my back hurts a little more now than what it did when I was 20, 21, 22, being stupid, running 80-mile-an-hour everywhere I went. And now back her off and just kind of chill out and ease around. If I want to do this for 25 more years or 20 years, I can't beat my body up like that. I mean,
Yeah,
it's bad to make 3,000 casts a day, being on the water for 14, 15 hours a day. And you start doing that to your system, it's just not, your chances of making it last that long are a lot slimmer.
so let me get this straight. So for 8 solid days, you threw the yum woolly bug.
Yep.
You know, Brad, the publisher of Bassin magazine, likes to talk confidence. I don't think I've ever heard a guy who's more confident in what he does than that. Of course, your confidence paid off. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's incredible.
In practice, I didn't get bit very much on it. I think I only had 2 or 3 bites out of the trees with it. And I was beginning to second guess myself. And I actually planned on catching fish out of the grass on a chatterbait. That's what I planned on doing.
Sure.
And the water was cooler, and I thought some big ones doing it. I mean, I thought I could catch 25 to 35 pounds a day out of the grass if I can get 6 bites a day. Because I'd only do it for 2 or 3, 4 hours during tournament, and I'd catch an 8 and a 4, and then I'd, in different little sections, and I'd leave. So I was like, if I spend all day doing this, I think I can crack them. I caught 1 fish out of the grass the entire tournament. And it was like, but I mean, it was just I'd found a brush pile, and I'd scoped over it, and I had one that looked like it was between 8 and 10 come up with a jerk bait and wouldn't eat it. About the time it got to the grass, and it turned off of it. And
it came right up to it and stopped?
Came right up to it and stopped. It come out of the brush pile, and I was like, yeah, I told my marshal, I said, it's about to get wild in a second. And she got right up to it and just turned off of it.
Stuff's gonna get real. Yeah, I love that.
It was about to go real.
Fish, I hate it when fish do that. They go right up.
Live scope makes you want to cuss a lot.
Yes. I would have a hard time quitting cussing if I had live scope. Yes.
It's stressful, but I mean, there's a lot of good things. I mean, if I caught every fish that came up to my bait on live scope, I'd catch 50 pounds every day.
Yes.
Theoretically, but it's just it's a tool. It puts you in the areas that have fish. Don't get me wrong, we catch fish that we normally would never caught off of it, but it's just another tool.
One thing I think that live scope has taught us, the only time I ever saw bass before was during spawning season.
Mm-hmm.
And they sit there.
Yeah.
Well, that's not normal bass behavior except during spawning. Now we know that. Now we know that bass are constantly moving. I used to think bass just stayed there. No. That they were ambushed. They tucked themselves back in the rocks or back in the grass. But they do that sometimes. But
no, they definitely roam a lot more than we gave them credit for.
That's a revelation.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even the crappie fishing people, only crappie get on brush piles. There's 100 of them there. Hell, yes. There's 1 on this stump, then there's 3 on this one, and there's 5 out there swimming around in, middle of the lake hanging out. It's neat.
That's about crappies too. They hang out on piles, and that's the school, man. There's 2,000 of them here, and I guided crappies for 15 years.
Yeah.
I thought I knew them. No, I thought I knew bass. I have 40 years of experience fishing for bass, and
no, it's crazy. I mean, the difference of how things have changed and went on about life, it's been different. I mean, it's just like, heck, we used to go from paper graphs to, oh gosh, down imaging. That was like, oh man, I don't ever need anything else. And then we got side imaging. Oh, 360 and live scope, and then I don't know. Heck, I don't know where else we can go besides, I guess, live 360. Would be the only.
When I was a boy, they had those green boxes, flashers. You pulled it up and it made this really cool noise. That I used to dream about that noise when I was a boy because Then, oh, there's a fish. There's a fish. Then we got this Lowrance, this first Lowrance unit, and it had a screen that was this
Oh, yeah.
big. It
Oh,
was 2 inches wide and 3 inches long.
yeah.
And I'd sit there and look at it. Oh, there's a block. There's a block. Look, Dad, there's a fish right there.
It's nuts how much stuff's changed. Like I don't know where it's going to end. I don't know. I don't know how it can get any better, but I don't know. I said that with, we had side imaging, and these guys, they're producing all this. It's just amazing the technology they have to do it.
Next, there's going to be a heads-up display that's going to display right in front of your face.
That's the only thing I could say. I mean, maybe it's going to tell you what the fish wants.
Yeah, we can actually.
The color selector, we got the
psionic link with a fish. Yes.
Yeah, that could be it. No, it's interesting. I never thought that I would be much of a gamer, I guess you'd call it, on live scope. I enjoy using it. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm not. It's definitely different. I like using live scope, but I had to learn. I used it a lot. I got an aluminum boat that I play with it on it a lot, and it's just like I said, it's another tool. I love to go. I just soon go flip cypress trees and not look at them anymore, or flip bushes or whatever, and just go to work on them, And
let me ask you this: is it a little different? I assume the Santee Cooper is probably stained water. Yeah. And you can't see the fish that are spawning. You just know.
It's actually, Drew Cook, he caught his sight fishing again this year. Certain part of the lake is clean enough. I caught some fish looking at them, actually on beds, because they'll spawn super shallow. So it's different. I mean, the lake's got the lower definitely clean to go into.
Because down here you cannot see them. You cannot see the fish that are spawning, and you gotta be great at skipping to get underneath those long cypress limbs that might go 30 feet out. And that's about 16 skips.
Yeah.
And that's the only way I've ever caught spawning. The only way I knew that they were spawning is that they had a belly this big. 4-pounders got a belly big when they're about ready to burst.
Yeah.
What a beautiful fish, huh?
Oh yeah.
Did your fish still have eggs in them?
Yeah, most of them did. The female did. I caught every day. I had one right over 7. I guess the final day I had 2 over 7. But obviously those males. But the males, they're pretty big. They're 3 and 4 pounders. So
wow.
I mean, everything I caught, the one each day definitely was a female. Or the biggest ones. But they were borderline. They were very close to spawning and being gone. Like I wouldn't doubt if it wasn't going to be another day and it was over with for them. When those fish move up, when the water's getting that warm, in the south especially, they'll spawn in a day. They'll pull up that morning, they'll all be gone that evening. And especially in that water, we had water 70 to 72, 73. So it was definitely the tail end of that spawn.
Wow, yeah, that's the tail end. Usually it starts about 65, doesn't it?
Yeah, which I've seen them in 58 to 59 there. They go ahead and get up there and spawn. But there's a lot of fish in that lake, and it's a shallow lake, so some fish just maybe not be pulled up there, and ready to go early in the year, and they just kind of filter. I mean, it's different in the South. Here in Oklahoma, we have a decent amount of time for them to spawn. Normally, second week in April. Well, sometimes the first week in April all the way up into mid-May is about the latest you'll see them normally. But that's kind of our spawning section. And it depends on the weather, too. If we get a good warm front early in the year and some warm, they'll pull up earlier. But normally we got about a month and a half that they're going to get after the spawn.
Well, that's one thing I like about fishing in mid-spawn, because you got bass coming, spawning, and going.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then if you get that late,
there's all kinds of ways you can catch them.
Oh yeah, and everybody you can do what you want. If you like to fish offshore, you like to fish on the bank, you like to sight fish, it makes it for a fun tournament for everybody.
It does. And also that means, just like you said, a tough tournament, it's anybody's tournament. But when you got one of that with so many different patterns, it's anybody.
Yeah.
You're not just going to get the guys who are just good at super finesse who like to use 3-pound line, you know.
Yeah, that's a menace for me. I'm gonna the way I set the hook, that's not gonna happen at all. I guess I just have to put it
No,
in and just start doing something different because
no,
I
it's
couldn't do.
like you got to sweet talk them in too.
Yeah, that I'm not good at, especially dang brown fish. They are aggravating. They want to
Ooh.
nuts for too long for me. I like to hit them with. I wish I
Man,
could hit braid and boat flip every one of them.
when I was in my early 20s, I didn't realize how good I had it. I was stationed on the northern southern peninsula, about 150 miles north of oh, what the heck's that big bay? On Lake Huron. I was stationed right on the shores of Lake Huron.
Hmm.
And I was young. I didn't know what I was doing. I had a 5-foot ugly stick with 4-pound test, blue Kmart line.
Oh yeah.
And I caught some monster smallmouths in that thing from streams, and I had no idea how good I had it. And a 4-pound line that's old, I got them in. You like I said, you have to sweet talk them. You have to know how to use that drag, and sometimes you use your fingers as a brake. With that little spinning reel.
Yeah, it's definitely an art getting them in. It's not. It's you just don't stick your rod at and point at them. You gotta have if you gotta have your tackle set up right. I mean, and then once you hook one, then like I said, you gotta work your drag yourself.
But that doesn't work in Sandy Cooper because, just like I figured out that doesn't work down here because there's just so much that can go wrong when you have cypress knees and mean vegetation, not like the kind that's up north. Down here, the vegetation is mean.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I mean. Everybody's couldn't believe how hard I was hitting those fish, but you'd hit them, and them things I don't think I've ever been around fish that strong. I mean,
Wow.
you'd hit them, and it was just like that one I caught on day 3, I think. She actually ripped drag on me, and I haven't had that. I mean, I got mine cranked. I don't back out on them, especially flipping. And she actually peeled drag. Like I was scared. I was like, she might break me off, and I would have really not been happy then.
A bass that breaks you off with 20-pound test,
Yeah,
particularly when I know how you guys are. You got new line on every day.
yeah,
There's too much. One missed fish could be thousands of dollars.
100%, 100%.
And you guys say hook sets are free.
Nah, just hit them and let it eat.
Yeah. You give the bodybuilder lift and grunt.
That's the way I like to do it too. I don't like to ease up on them. They've caused me enough pain through my life. I wanna show them a little bit. I got to get revenge on them sometime.
You mad at him, huh?
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Mad at him. That's funny. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Man, but so next you're going to the Sabine River. Where's that? Where after the Sabine River?
I'm fishing the Central Opens this year, and we actually come back to Oklahoma and we fished Lake Eufaula here in Oklahoma, which I'm kind of looking forward to. That's a place I grew up fishing my whole life. I kind of cut my teeth. It's still an hour and 20 minutes from it, but I kind of cut my teeth fishing there, and heck, if everything goes right, accidentally win that, then I make the Classic. So that would be prime real estate, and I could have fun when I went up north instead of being stressed out catching brown fish the whole time.
So you don't make the Classic because you win an Elite Series?
Yeah, if you win an Elite Series, it's not a win and you're in anymore. It's you still got to finish 40 in the points, but in the Opens, say I'm
40
Opens and I'm fishing 3 of them. If you win one of those, you fish all the tournaments in that division, you make the Classic. So that's one reason I'm open in Oklahoma, which, I mean, it's Eufaula. I was going to try to get in it anyway, just because, I mean, maybe I can, or I'll probably get my teeth kicked in just because I fish there so much and I know too much about the lake. And we're going at a time here that I'm really not, normally that's not my prime time to catch them, really.
Well, yeah, knowledge of the lake can be a blessing or a curse. Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I've done fairly well in that lake. I'll give them a little run for their money anyway.
Yeah. And if I was fishing that, man, I know some of these little tournaments I fish, if there's a professional guide fishing them, all the guys get bent out of shape. I'm like, man, I'm looking forward to fishing against him. I want to see where I end up.
Yeah.
If he's a pro or if a charter boat captain, he fishes here every day. You better believe I'm be watching every move he makes.
And so this, I don't get to fish many tournaments in Oklahoma anymore. There's only like, I think maybe 2 leagues in this part of where I'm at that I can even fish. So that is, I don't get to fish with my dad much anymore because of that. But I'm not home to fish them anyway, hardly. But when I am, it'd be nice to get to go fishing with my dad. But that's part of it. I mean, I understand to an extent, but they actually have a lot better chance to beat me now than they would before I got on the leads, because it was like I had pets fish back then.
Yeah,
I was
you had
gone.
the fish named, huh?
Oh yeah, I was on the lake, 2 or 3 days a week whenever I wasn't working at the hardware store and I was just mowing grass. And before a tournament, I was there 2 days prior, and I knew what was going on, what end of the lake was firing, what I need to be doing, and I enjoyed it back then because I put some money in the bank those few years.
I bet you did. I bet you did. Wow. So when you made a run at the Elite Series, did you get it the first time?
No, actually, in 15, I tried for it, and I ended up missing it by 1 or 2 spots.
Wow.
Yeah, that was kind of kick in the face, but it was good. It didn't happen. I mean, I'm glad it didn't happen, because looking back now, it hurt, but everything lined up in God's timing on it for sure for me, because I had a year off. Well, not a year off. The next year we were shorthanded the store, and I didn't get in the opens to fish all of them. So I said, I'm not going to fish just 2 of them. If I don't have a chance to make the leads, I'm not going to just do that. So I took off that year and I fished the ABAs and ended up winning the Ray Scott National Championship that next spring, the same year that I made the elites. So that allowed me, it was $100,000 when I won it. So that gave me the monies to fish for 2 years free, to an extent, where I didn't have to worry.
Paid for, yeah.
So it was a very big blessing, and kind of the rest has been history. I mean, because the second year the sponsorship started showing up better, and it's got a little better each year, and I hope it keeps getting better for the rest of my career.
Well, I hope that too, man. Like I said before, when I saw that you had won, that guy's been on my podcast. It was a proud moment,
Yeah, it was a good time. Like I mean, I didn't plan on winning it when I got there. I really hadn't. It was just one of those things that when it's your time to win, I don't care. I think my boat could have broke in half and it would have somehow drifted into the bank and we'd have got checked in. I mean, that's how everything was going. I mean, it was just a very, very enjoyable week. Very enjoyable.
I bet it was.
Yeah.
And I bet you it's just been a whirlwind since you got home.
It has been, which as soon as I got back last Monday, and I had a film for 2 days, and then I was at the hardware for 2 days, and I had to go to Grand for Falcon. They had their Falcon Rod Challenge up there which is a heck of a deal. There's 400 and something boats in that tournament.
Wow.
Went fishing with my dad on Sunday, and I've been to work. I'll work all the way up till I leave Friday night to head to Sabine. So it's definitely been a week. I still got a lot of tackle. Well, I got my tackle and my rods done somewhat. So I just got to clean my boat up, pack all my clothes, and make the 7-8 hour drive down to Sabine and get after it on Monday morning.
Wow.
It's a lot of driving. Which if I wasn't working, it wouldn't be as bad. I guess I'd have more time. But when you work on top of fishing and do things, it's a fast paced world for sure. For at least 6 or 7 months out of the year, you definitely, last trip I was gone for right at 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Never got to come home. Nothing. I was ready to be home when I got home. I mean, now I'm ready to go fishing already again. But
yeah,
I got to see my family. That's the main thing. I work with my family here at the store. My parents live 2 or 3 miles from me, so we see each other every day.
Wow, that's a blessing.
Oh, yeah. I've enjoyed it. I mean,
That's a blessing.
yeah, and not and and
Blessing.
we get along really well, so that makes it even better. And so it's being tough being gone. I wish they could have been there, obviously, but like I said, they were at home taking care of things for me to allow me to do that. So I got a very good group of set of parents.
Well, it's about 35 after the hour. So, are there any shout outs you'd like to do?
Like Falcon rods, Young Baits, Sunline. I run amped outdoor batteries, and Matt, he is so good about his battery. Like he knows every little thing. If I've ever had an issue or something, he's Johnny on the spot to take care of me, and he done that before I got on the leads. So that was really awesome of him. Uh, I've used his Waterland sunglasses. I'm very picky on those. Like I've used several different companies in the past, and when Waterland came to me, and my dealer actually already had the glasses, and I tried them on. I was like, man, I need to get me a pair of these, and I've been with them now. This year's first time I've been with them, and I mean, I kind of used them up to that point, and then when they contacted me, it was like, done deal. I'm definitely going to be using your stuff. It's been good with them, the hook rain gear and clothing. I got I wear their polos just to go to work every day. So it's
Sure.
I've got a good group that I've got with me, and they all support me. I mean, it's been a very fun year, obviously this year with the win, but having people that really care about you winning one makes the win go from awesome to fantastic. Just because you having that group around you, you've got to have a mesh of people that really care about you. Some people say they care, but like my camera guy, Aaron Scripcheck, he's from Wisconsin, and he is like, we're inseparable. I mean, we were together for 5 weeks in a row. We never have a rough argument. We never have a cross word. We just get along so well. And hell, I don't know who was more emotional, me or him, whenever I won. I mean, he was just as proud for me to win it like he was my own. He was my brother. So that makes it special. I mean, it's like you'll be able to, like I said, go watch the YouTube tonight. And you'll see the group of guys that came all the way from Columbia that I stayed with a week before. Didn't know they all came to the tournament just to watch me weigh in and to see it. I mean, it's special when you have that around you. So
I'm sure it is, man. Wow.
you got to have that on the road. I mean, it's
Yeah,
been
you do.
it's been awesome.
You got to stay grounded somehow when you're on the road. I know that.
100%, you do.
It's easy to lose your focus.
It dang sure is. So, but it was good. I hope
Well,
I hope one this year.
I know that you're a very busy man. I'd like to thank you so much for taking time out of your hectic schedule for coming talk to our viewers here on the Bassin Magazine podcast. And Bassin Magazine, guys, Bassin Magazine is the official magazine of the Weekend Angler. Again, Bassmaster Elite Series champion Luke Palmer. I'm Jay Angel. I'm your podcaster. And you know what? It's Wednesday night. Make your plans. Get out there. Go fishing this weekend, guys, because you only get to do this once. Luke, please stick around. I'm like to talk to you for 2 minutes after the podcast. With that, guys, have a great weekend.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.